Hi, folks. Well, we thought we were going to get a weekend off with Richard taking a break from his fiendishly difficult threads, but Bill of Bill Vinalists has taken up the challenge and has produced a thread which I must admit I couldn't resist trying. What he wants us to show is albums or records with a um, an element in from the periodic table. Um, so this one was had me on my knees searching through the racks, but I think I've managed to make a decent fist of it. So let's carry on and let's see what we've got. Right, I'm going in alphabetical order. Right, the first one is Bismuth. Weird one. And this is the album Nomadic by the American jazzer Sonny Simmons and with the French group Moksha Samyasin. And while the album and the song titles don't include Bismuth, the drummer, percussionist and electronic player is Sebastian Bismuth. So hopefully that will be allowed. Next up, we have Bromine, and we have the great Peter Hammill with his album In Camera, and the final track on there is Gog Magog, in brackets, in Bromine Chambers. That's Bromine. Next up, Calcium, and we have the first CD, and this is the album Sporadic Spirogyra by Tribe of Crow. Crow spelled C-R-O. And the second track on here is Dead Men Don't Eat Calcium. Next up, Carbon. And we have the modern day German electronic band Camera with their album called Remember I Was Carbon Dioxide. That's Carbon. Next up, Chromium, and we have the excellent Neuronium, Spanish electronic group from the 70s. And their album is called Chromium Echoes. Cobalt, and another magnificent album, this one by Khan, the British prog psych band with Steve Hillage and Dave Stewart. And on here we have the title track is Space Shanty, in brackets including the Cobalt sequence and March of the Sign Squadrons. So that's Cobalt dealt with. Next up, Copper, and we have American 60s band Mad River with their second album Paradise Bar and Grill. And on here, next to last track on side one, Copper Plates. Gold, and who else but the Rolling Stones with their superb compilation Rolled Gold. Next, Helium. Right. Bill said we were allowed a bonus, and for that we could use the letters that identify the elements. So I have gone for Helium and the Van de Graaff Generators superb album H2HE, who I'm the only one. Could have used that for hydrogen as well, but I'm just using it for helium, HE. we get on to Hydrogen. And for Hydrogen, sticking with prog, and this is the album Infernal by the modern day American prog band Fido. And I'm not getting it out of the sleeve, but on there's a track called, bear with me, From Hydrogen to Love. Next up, Iodine, or Iodine, and only got this on CD. This is Leonard Cohen, Death of a Ladies Man, and on there we have a track called Iodine. Next, Iron, and for the Iron we go to Barclay James Harvest with their very first album. Sorry about the glare there. And on there we have the track The Iron Maiden. Lead, and for this we go for a band name, and this is the American folk rock band Boiled in Lead with their album From the Ladle to the Grave. Next up, Magnesium, and we go to the good old Dead with this album Infrared Roses, and track number 9 is Magnesium Nightlight. Next up, Mercury, and for that go to the Steve Miller Band with their album Fly Like an Eagle. Sorry, should have known that. And on there, finishing off, I think side 1, we have Mercury Blues. Next up, Neon, and for that I've gone with Camel's 1980 album I Can See Your House From Here, and on there we have the track Neon Magic. Nickel is next, and for that we've got Guy Clark. This is a twofer of his old #1 and Texas Cooking albums, and track number 4 is A Nickel for the Fiddler. Now Oxygen, I was going to go with what Bill showed, which was Oxygen by Jean-Michel Jarre, but seeing as he's allowing foreign names, which wasn't allowed by Richard McCook, take note, Richard. We have the Finnish band's Finn Forest with their first album, and on here there is a track called Happier. Now Happier is the Finnish for oxygen. There you go. Next up we have Weather Report with their album Heavy Weather, and track 6 on here is Palladium. That's Weather Report and Palladium. Next up, Radon, and we have the excellent Oysterhead with the Grand Pecking Order album. Oysterhead were a jam band supergroup made up of Les Claypool of Primus fame, Trey Anastasio from Fish, and from the Police, Stuart Copeland. And track 5 on this, their solo album, is Radon Balloon. Next up, Silver, and we have Bebop Deluxe with their Axe Victim album. Superb cover there. And on here we have the track Jet Silver and the Dolls of Venus. tin. And we have the lovely Joni Mitchell with her album Clouds, and track 1 is Tin Angel. Next up, I think probably a load are going to be showing this. For Titanium, we have Wings' album Venus and Mars. And on here we have the track Magneto and the Titanium Man. Next up, Uranium. And with that I've got Kraftwerk's Radioaktivität album. And on here we have the track simply titled Uranium. Hey, and we're at the end. And we end off with Xenon and Hawkwind's album called the Xenon Codex. Right, I make that 25, not bad. Thanks for that, Bill, that was interesting. I haven't watched the other entries yet. I know Richard, Rob, and of course Dale, who'll probably knock it out of the park, have done entries. I'll be interested to see what theirs include, which I might do now. So take care. See you later. Oh, I might do a video later today or early tomorrow with the draw for my contest. So you might have a couple of hours in which to get a late entry in. Anyway, take care. See you soon.